All right, let me know when you're ready to go.
Shall I count us in? Okay. Ready?
Hi.
How you doing, my Hlabi?
Why are you shaking your head? It's true.
Hello.
Before we dive in, now I'm ready.
Hello. Hlabi just sneezed as I counted us in, and I was going to give him a break, but I just kept going, and now here we are. And he's
I wasn't
recovering
sneezing.
into the episode.
I was joking.
Shit. Listen, okay? I'm a theater actor. The show must go on.
Oh, shit. I was trying to clear my throat and then I kind of had a cough and then the windpipe started doing the swallowing function of my saliva. I was like, oh no. Oh gosh. Okay.
The fact that it's just a little flap that directs air and mucus, like just flip flap between the two. Like, really? Who designed this?
This is the simplest, dumbest thing, but it's so efficient. Hello back at you, Fee. What's up?
I am coming to you live from Pain Central. We're in the ouchies. We are in the back spasms.
Oh no. The allergies, the back spasms. We are in the weather, the London weather is what we're in. It's raining right now.
Oh.
The skies are grey. It feels like it's probably looking exactly the same as you. So, it feels like we're in the same place, in physically, like physical space.
Except you're 2 hours ahead and I'm still in my pajamas. If you're joining us on video, you can already see that. These are my Jimmy Jams.
Daylight savings,
and that is my cat meowing.
I can't hear
Yeah, I don't understand.
I hate it. I don't understand it.
It catches me off guard twice a year.
Gosh, it catches me off guard every freaking time we schedule recording. Okay, housekeeping. We have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all with the same handle at Quality Control Pod. Once again, Quality Control Pod. Control spelled CNTRL. We also have an email address in which you can email us and say things and make suggestions and give us compliments, etc., etc. Or as Feeya wants, for some reason, she wants you to send memes by email. I don't know why. I don't know why it has to be by email, but that's exactly what she wants. And that address is qualitycontrol.podcast11@gmail.com. qualitycontrol.podcast11@gmail.com. Control spelled normally. Spoiler warning. Today we're covering Arcane Season 2, Episodes 1 to 3, the first act. This is our very first instant reaction. Yes, it is on video. This is our first instant reaction recording, so it's quite raw. We're not going to be deep diving too much into theories. It's more like theories and possible themes, any conspiracies we have, and frankly, whether we liked this or not, Yeah, so that's what it's going to be. But as normal, there will be an overview. This one won't be as polished. So bear with us. Are you ready, Fee, to listen?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Episode 1 opens where Season 1 closed. The people of Piltover are dealing with the aftermath of the attack by Jinx. 3 counselors are dead, including Caitlyn's mother. Victor is near death and Jace, instead of destroying the Hex Core, uses it to try and save his life. Caitlyn asks Vi to become an enforcer, which Vi initially refuses, but after an attack on the city's memorial service by one of the grief-stricken crime lords, this may change. Below ground, Zorn and its people are also dealing with the loss of Silco. The snake has no head and the 3 surviving crime bosses are vying for control. Jinx and Savika are lost for what to do now, but there is a sense that they have each other. Caitlyn, now the head of the household, because it was never going to be her marshmallow of a father, and thank heavens for that, struggles with the burden. Using her mother's family key, she finds inspiration and creates an aggressive-looking task force to hunt down Jinx. Vi joins. Victor wakes up but is not the same. He's bells, whistles, gears, and magic now and says goodbye to Jace, heading into Zorn. Caitlyn's task force uses scary and unethical poisoning tactics to hunt down criminals in Zorn. Nearly found by this task force, a still listless Jinx is then cornered by gang boss Smeech, who wants to catch her and turn her into the Piltover enforcers, or turn her over to the Piltover enforcers. Jinx is saved by Savika and finds inspiration in the shape of a sister murdering idea. Along for the ride is Jinx's new unintended cute little protege child, whom Jinx saved earlier. Heimerdinger and his new student Echo bump into his old student Jace while sneaking into the latter's lab. The giant tree in Echo's home is dying, and it seems Jace and his Hextech may be at fault. The three head down into the Hextech's core deep underground after realizing that the core of the Arcane is action and reaction. At the core of the Arcane, the magic of the Arcane is action and reaction. The Arcane may be upset by the constant demands made by Hextech and is reacting aggressively, teaching Heimerdinger that it is not entirely the corruption of humanity that led to magic-induced atomic destruction in the past. Finally, Caitlyn and Vi head into Jinx's trap to confront her. As the pair of them face off against Jinx and Savika, the wayward Hex Core affects Vi and Caitlyn's weaponry, as well as takes the three men near it on an acid-looking trip. The fight comes to a halt when Vi stops Caitlyn from risking the life of an innocent youth child. Kate doesn't take this well, baring her topsider fangs. She leaves Vi behind, breaking her promise not to change. The council, under the influence of Mrs. Medada, declares martial law, electing Caitlyn as commander of the state during this wartime period. Little does Mama Medada know that her enemy has magically kidnapped her daughter, Mal. Still scratchy throat. And that is the overview for Act 1 of Season 2. Feeya. First thoughts on the act. Did you like it?
Sorry if there was a bit of a pause there. I have a cat in my lap and he's sitting on my arm that reaches the mouse where I unmute myself. Anyway, thanks for moving now, Val.
He's like, why are you talking? Nah,
question.
we don't do this.
Yes, there was a lot. I was confused a lot of the time, even though I was for once watching something without looking at my phone, without doing something else. I was just watching the thing and I was still a bit like, what did I just see? There's also a lot of blending of styles of animation.
Yes.
More than the previous season.
Yes.
I think they took higher risks with this one in that regard. I think it paid off. I think they all looked amazing every single time they switched styles. It was consistent with the world, but clearly different to the normal that we've been shown.
Yeah. Do you think it is also like more budget and the time to do it as well?
Oh, hell yeah.
Netflix is like, yeah, man, take that cash. You guys did great. Do what you will with this. And then, unlike a lot of the times, right, when the sequel to something has more money, can kind of become wasteful. This doesn't feel wasteful in terms of that animation and the budget. It paid off, as you said. Did you like it? Yes, you were confused, yes. But did you enjoy yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially with the music.
Yes. It really stood out. It really stood out this time. What do you have a favorite song or like vibe in terms of scene and song? There's one that you commented on when we were watching.
I don't remember now. I think it was when Vi and was it? It might have been when Caitlyn decided to like launch herself as that Piltover's Che Guevara. How do you pronounce it?
Che Guevara, which is like funny as fuck because like she represents what Che Guevara would have been fighting against. In actuality,
exactly.
She's establishment.
Yes, she is. Which is also like we knew it was coming, but like That was so devastating. It was so devastating witnessing this radicalization of somebody that you had hoped would be a balanced individual.
Yeah. It was cool though. Fuck, they did it so well. Just looked gangster.
Very much so.
Yeah, that
Very
song
much so.
was.
But
We'll find what the song is, but it was like more like it had something to do with consequences as well. You know, like in terms of the theme of the song, and like I'm bad or something like that. I'm becoming bad, etc. Yeah, because they essentially. I mean, we didn't see this happen, but we know that Caitlyn went to Chase and fucking strong armed him and was like, "You're gonna make Hextech weaponry. Is what you're gonna do, motherfucker, and you're gonna do it right now." And he's like, "Shit, okay." And he gets down and busy. I'm not sure if Victor was awake at that point when he done that and had left already. Yes, was it, or did Victor wake up at the beginning of episode 3?
I think Victor was awake at that point.
And had left.
Yes, because he definitely decided. They had a small confrontation about it, right?
Yeah. Well,
He
not
looks over at their
really.
notes and says, "We had a dream once too.
Yeah.
You swore
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
would destroy the hex core."
Yeah.
And he's looking
But
at the plans for the weapon. So I think that happened.
yeah, I'm not sure when that happened, but either way, it doesn't matter, right? Because Victor wakes up and is like, "I had peace, bro. We're definitely different. I'm like, look at me. I look like a magic walking armory or toolbox rather. He's got gears on him, etc. His skin is metallic, and he's just like, man, we were apart a long time ago. It's just that we love each other
Yeah,
because we're homies. That's why we
yeah,
stay together. But really, yeah, that was sad.
yeah,
Okay, my first
yeah.
thoughts, really quickly. I don't think I
Hmm.
was as confused as you. I can see it being confusing, right? Especially the bit where I mean, as I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, it is called Arcane, right? And in many ways, yes, Hextech is at the core of a lot of things, but it feels background, and it's giving that energy. I'm getting that sense of like a Song of Ice and Fire, right, of Game of Thrones. That everything we saw in Game of Thrones was actually irrelevant. The whole point is like, yeah, that's humans and humans' little squabbles. But in actual fact, at least in terms of the books, actual fact, it's the Song of Ice and Fire, right? It's the battle between the Ice Walkers and defeating them is the actual story. All of this is to show the pettiness of people, and I was getting a bit of that sense when they started going into the arcane a bit more in this first act and showing because they've seeded it throughout, right? We always know it's there. The opening was Jay seeing magic. Hamilton is constantly thinking of that being rising up and causing an explosion. So it's this thing of there's a bigger picture and always has been, but these other things are our distraction because, like the characters, we're also people and are interested in these emotions and this and that. And it's like, well, but there's a larger story, is what I'm getting from this first act. It does feel a bit sudden, though, right? Not maybe not sudden, jarring. Because, like I said, they've been lacing things throughout, I suppose, but it does feel jarring. Of like, I felt jarred. Of, damn, okay, Hex Tech is. I mean, the arcane is a proper living, breathing thing, and we're seeing that happening. I liked it though. I liked it. I was confused by Victor's mentor. If you have thoughts on that, just what he's doing with wolves. That seems a bit shoehorned in rather. Yes.
So just to clarify, I'm not confused by the arcane. I'm
Oh,
confused
okay.
about the consequences of some of those characters' actions. So specifically when Jinx opens the
Oh.
vent and she blows the like pigment into the upper city, I'm really confused as to what the implications of that were. Like, is she
Oh.
saying the 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 undercity is rising up? Is that what the statement is? Is there like poison in that gas? Is there uh, statement that she's making? Is there a rebuttal that she's doing? Because they, of course, pumped tear gas into the Undercity trying to look for her, and
Mm.
they used the Undercity's only ventilation. to do
Oh,
that. So everybody was fucked. And then we cut to the upper city with Ambessa Madada, and she gestured to a little boy with a mask on and red face, as if though like they did this to you, but like that was Caitlin. That was Caitlin. She did that, and I know that the tear gas came up with the paint,
mm,
but I want to know what Jinx. Like I want to know what the impetus there was. Was it to say that this is what you've been doing to us? Was it to say that we're coming for you? Like I'm not grounded in the consequences for some things. So it's not only that. I think there was one or two other things that happened specifically with Jinx that I was like, I'm not sure. With Jinx and with Vi and Caitlin searching the Undercity, that I'm like, I'm not sure what the consequences of this particular step are, because I'm not sure what the impact of this action is going to have going forward.
mm. Okay. I mean, maybe that's a case of we'll have to see. It is only the first few eps. I with the Vi thing, not Vi, with the Jinx and the powder stuff that she was shooting up with the gas. I think it's all of the above. I think it was all of those things, and then also that thing of like, look, we can touch you too, and kind of like you look like us now as well. When you, I mean, you had the people from the Undercity who are outside reacting and seeing it happening and being like, oh man, look at that, because also she made it colorful as well as the tear gas. And I think it was kind of like, you are just like us, you motherfuckers, and we can do it too. I don't know, but I get your point. Um, I thought you were confused by the arcane. I think it was the timing of our messages when we were having quick chats.
Yeah, which we also didn't really get into because we wanted to save our conversation for this, because we've never chatted about this. We had one or two things where I sent Hlabi a message going, "Oh, the soundtrack," or he sent me a message
Yes.
going, "What did you had a really nice name for Victor," and I was thinking the exact same thing.
Oh, let me take a look. Hold on. Name for Victor. What did I call
Gearbox
him?
Jesus,
Oh yeah. Oh, Gearheart Jesus.
Gearheart Jesus.
Yeah, because he
At
had
the
that. He had
exact
he had
time,
saving moment.
he really did, and they fucking bowed to him. Like, and I was
Yes.
I was sitting here like, save your shit. And that's when you
Yes.
sent me Gearheart Jesus, and I was like, yes, same brain. Okay.
So for context, Victor, now like this kind of magical Jesus, goes to the deep into Zorn, where all the Shimmer addicts hang out, right? Who always, they just need a fix of Shimmer. And it's the guy we've seen in season one, the dude with the glasses, who we saw in, I think, episode one, who Vanda stood up for when they were making that deal. So he's an addict, and they're trying to rob Victor. They can't see, right? They can see that he's got like, it looks like he has money. He's got the staff, and they're thinking, and it looks like it's the staff that they're really focusing on. That we can take him for whatever he's got, and we can go and get some Shimmer. And Victor doesn't. He's not afraid. He doesn't shrink away. Doesn't shy away. He reaches out, in fact, and touches at his wounded part and freaking heals him magically. But kind of, it was so interesting because there's this white glow, and he kind of heals him in the way that Victor was sort of healed with the hex core magic, where it looks like it's kind of metallic a bit, and we see that the guy's eyes now that they're healed, have this like white magical sheen to them. And yeah, and then all the other addicts and victims of Shimmer really bow down to Victor. And yes, he looks like Gearheart Jesus. Just because he's all metallic and whatnot. And is
They've got
inhuman.
a messiah now.
And they've got a Messiah now. And that's probably going to be a whole other faction and thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't
Because, yeah.
confused about the implications of that, but I am really curious about what that's going to mean. Is this the infusion of the arcane into the people of this land? Is this how the arcane becomes something natural born within humans now? Have they found a way to like bridge that? Are the people who he heals, are they going to be able to have children that will
Hmm.
have some ability over the arcane? That's what I'm like.
Well,
That's
it's that
so delicious. And I want some confirmation. I hope they give it to us.
it's part of that conversation, right, that Echo and Jace were having about wild symbols and not nerd. I forgot what they called it now. The ones that are regulated, and then wild hex symbols. And Jace is like, well, there's wild ones in nature, and sometimes they congregate, right? And the place that Victor went to, he was led there, right? Because he was following Wild Arcane, essentially. And yeah, maybe that's what it is. That the Arcane is like, cool, you guys think you can control this thing. I'm gonna let me show you. This is how we react, and we're not a tool for you. We will be part of you, and in some ways be controlling of you because of that. Um, yeah, that is interesting as fuck. Okay, so we liked these first three episodes. Do you have a favorite anything in the first three? Just quickly before we go into possible themes.
Um, episode, you mean?
Anything. Well, let's go. Do you have a
Um,
favorite episode and then like a favorite happening within any of the episodes? But let's start with the favorite episode.
oh, I don't know, actually. I
Yeah.
think it's a bit tough to choose at this point. I think I might have to look back in hindsight and choose because I want to say episode two because that's where my favorite instance happens. But like also maybe episode two was just progression of story
Hmm.
because episode one was a lot of expedition. It was picking up after
Yeah.
where we left off. I don't know. Do you have a favorite episode?
I don't. I think maybe three.
Yeah,
Like the
because of
fight,
the arcane stuff.
the arcane stuff, the fight between the four women, Savika, Jinx, Vi, and Caitlyn. That was just, yeah, that was baller. That was dope. That fight, but also high risk. Those people try to kill each other, dude. Like, and yeah, you predicted it, right? So in one of the few conversations we had while we were texting, I was like, ooh, because Vi and Caitlyn kissed, and it did feel a bit criminal though, because it's the first time they're giving us a kiss between them, and you know that it's not going anywhere. Actually, you just know.
I I also want to believe that that is their first kiss.
As far
I
as I
feel
can
like
tell,
there's
yeah,
moments that they've shared,
yes, definitely.
but I'm pretty sure that that is their first ever kiss. Not just the
Hmm.
first kiss that they've shown us, but their
Yeah.
first kiss. And it's a promise between them because Vi, understandably, is seeing a different side of Caitlyn. And she's like,
Hmm.
please don't change. And Caitlyn is just like, without even thinking, she's like, I won't. But you, as a viewer, you're like, ah,
You already are.
she has no concept of what she's promising there. There's no
Yes.
consequences.
Yes. She's so engulfed by her grief for her mother, but unfortunately, it's really tying to her entitlement as a noble, really. And she's sort of equating the two of like, I'm gonna step up for my family, and stepping up for my family is part of that is taking revenge for my mother, but at any cost. And at the any cost is the noble part, right? The nobility part of her, of like at any cost for my people. Whereas the whole time you've been talking about, but there's innocence down there, etc., etc. And so I really enjoyed the fight as well. Because of that, you could see that eroding as they were fighting, and it culminates in the as yet nameless little girl who is quickly become a disciple of Jinx. And she runs to protect Jinx. And Jinx is like, what the fuck you doing, bro? No, get out of here, etc. Jinx wants to die, you know? Jinx is in so much pain and believes herself a curse on existence. Like, people around me die
Mm.
because of me, even when I'm not actively trying to kill them. They die when I'm around. And so she's like, yeah, just end me. And there's her little ray of hope. It's like, no, but you saved me. I didn't die. And Caitlin was willing to risk that. She's so small, Feeya. That child is so small. She's so teeny weeny and adorable. And Caitlin was like, nah, but Jinx is there and I've got the shot. It's like, yeah, you're a great shot. You're probably the best that this world has ever seen so far. But my gosh, everything's volatile. Your weapon was acting up a second ago. What if it fitzes again and you kill the little girl? And so Vi stops it. So I think that's my favorite instance, making that. I enjoyed the episode the most. Maybe I could go back and be like, actually, maybe it was episode 1 or whatnot. But I think episode 1 is my favorite. I mean, episode 3 is my favorite. And that fight between the 4 of them is my favorite. Closely followed by when Savika has the arm for the first time. Because it just shows.
That's my favorite moment in
that's
the
episode
first
2,
episodes. That whole thing. Yes. And they tried to conceal what Jinx was carrying, but it was very obvious if you didn't
it was very clear she's
what it was
carrying the
going to
arm.
be.
Yeah.
It's just she waves it.
Yes.
And then we cut to her making a thing, and we're like, oh yeah, she's going to replace the arm. And that
you think they were concealing it? I think they're concealing what it looks like, not that she's making an arm.
Surprising. I think they wanted to have a reveal.
Yeah, of exactly what it was.
When the cloth came off. Yeah, exactly. We knew that was for Savika. We knew. But that moment, the fight, first of all, the music there was really good. And then I got a bit irritated because the arm has its own music.
What do you mean?
And I felt like that the arm has speakers.
Oh, that point, yes.
There's music that comes out the top.
yeah. Which annoys Savika. She's like, oh my god, of course Jinx made this.
Yeah, and I understand that. Because also we were vibing with this heavy techno music, and then suddenly there's a whole different song with a different rhythm, and they kept that song as the rest of the fight, which irritated me. But I was also like, yeah, this
that's
works
Jinx.
because it's Jinx, yes. Yeah. And I was also like, if I was Savika, I'd be so torn between being annoyed and grateful because yes, I've got an arm back, but also what the how is this supposed to be functional and useful to anyone? And it's really nice to see Savika, who is this straight-laced, oh, my cat's giving me love eyes. Savika, who is this straight-laced, no nonsense woman, just kind of embrace the Jinx chaos and go, oh, okay, maybe I get Soko now.
And I get Jinx now. But you haven't talked about the actual function of the arm. Break down the arm, dude.
So the arm ends not in a hand, but in a kind of mouth claw type thing. And that claw has several different functions. But to get the functions, Savika has to play a slot machine. And it generates some random shit.
Bruh.
Every time she does something new, it generates something new.
Oh, God. It's such a game mechanic.
She can guess. Yeah, it is a real game mechanic. But it's also
why?
I'd be so annoyed.
Yeah.
When someone gives you a gift and you're like,
this is really cool, but
what the fuck am I supposed to do with this now?
Yeah, it's really cool, but why is it like this? Yes. as an item, this is dope, but why does it work this way?
It's like the Pimp My Ride of arms.
Oh my gosh! Yes! For anyone.
Oh, you're a nurse and you like to do MRIs.
Oh,
so
that's your favorite one.
MRI machine in the back of your hearse.
So for anyone who may not know, Pimp My Ride was an old MTV show in which the rapper DMX was the host, and they would go around
DMX? Exhibit?
I mean, Exhibit. Gosh, Exhibit. I'm thinking of the X part. Oh my goodness, people are going to kill me. Fuck yes, Exhibit. I'm thinking of the X. Also, I I came across DMX the other day. Na. So yeah, I think stop. Someone was making a joke. Anyway, so that was on my mind. And Exhibit was the host of Pimp My Ride, and they would go around taking people's shitty old cars that are not functioning properly, and they're like, we're going to pimp your ride. And to me, and I think to any normal person, a proper pimping is, oh my gosh, you gave me a new engine and you upgraded my kit, my body kit. It's all shiny and new. You serviced my car and put in new wonderful parts and you made it look cool. Nah, I feel like it kind of started that way, and each episode and each season got more ridiculous, in which they would add so many non-functioning, impractical things that would actually fuck up a car, which we found out did in the long run. And one of the examples you use is a real thing, which is like, we're going to put an MRI machine in your car because you're a nurse. And it's like, she's first of all a nurse, not a doctor. Let's start there. Why? What the fuck she did with an MRI machine? But also, if it was an actual proper functioning MRI machine, that's a hazard to society because it's so magnetically powerful. If she was to switch it on, people be fucked everywhere in the street. So also, no, it doesn't actually function. So why are you doing this whole thing? I think her car was fine before, actually. So yeah. And that is what Jinx did to Sofika's arm.
That is, yes, basically. She's like, all right, you have an arm now.
Yeah,
I can't use it except to like fling my arm at somebody. Yeah. That's the only way that I can actually control it.
Like, she can't eat with that shit. She can't, like, I know she was pretty functioning. She always had the cape over her arm, right? She'd use her right hand most of the time. But, yes, if she needed to pick some shit up, she could do two hands. She could be like, kicking, here I am, I'm doing my thing. Not with that arm, bro. That chomper. That's a fucking chomper. Okay.
But the fact that she embraced it and also committed brutal murder with it was very, very fun.
And satisfying.
Brutal.
Because that little rat guy was a little shit.
Yeah. I mean, generally, I'm the one that flinches at, like grotesque violence of that sort. But I was fucking great. I loved watching that. I was like, yeah, fucking decapitate that piece of shit.
Oh, and the lead up to that. It wasn't just the cat, that was a proper chomping because they ate him. You could hear it was gang, 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 gang.
Yep.
And it was the slot machine thing, right? And they were all looking like, oh, it's going to get to the... And the little girl who was there, who had been following Jinx up to that point, even she was like, oh my gosh, is it going to hit? And they became gamblers for a second. And it hit. And it went into full-on dinosaur monster chomping, eat.
And it speaks volumes that the jackpot is brutal murder.
Brutal murder, yeah.
Jinx's idea of jackpot, brutal murder.
Brutal murder. All right, let's jump on to any potential themes that we see. Lead us through, Fee.
You said something now that triggered my memory, but like I don't remember what you said.
I don't either.
So like
we're freestyling.
One of the biggest themes I could identify was desperation. And I think it's like desperation and consequences that are the two biggest ideas that link through this first arc. Like we've covered all of the others before. We've covered greed, we've covered desire, we've covered all of those. And here, those chickens are coming back to roost, and people are not liking the consequences that they've landed in, and so they're making desperate bids to try and get themselves out of shit. And I think Ambessa Madada is the best way to kind of typify that, because we now know that her son didn't die in battle the way that she said. He died in dubious circumstances because of something that she probably did in her previous moment of greed.
Yes.
And now the chickens are coming home to roost. So she's making desperate bids to get ahead of whatever is coming for her, and it's coming at a rate.
Yeah. Yeah, like it seems like the sun crossed these people at her behest, sort of. And but she's super defiant, because she's like, you don't fuck with my family. She's again with Game of Thrones. She's giving Tywin Lannister energy of, I'll be mean to my kids, I'll do this, but it is, I do it all for the family. You never betray family, etc. And you protect family. and so she's got that vibe about her. Yeah, and she's expecting shit, but also I think you're spot on there with this idea of consequences and desperation being that overriding theme, because when she's attacked by that merchant lady we saw in season one, who turns out she works for this shadow organization who use magic. So magic is starting to play a really prominent role in season two from different corners. So not just the hex tech, but there's she called her a witch. And they kind of use like roses, like the black roses and this kind of thorn magic. And she said something to her, I forgot her name, a merchant somebody. Madada holds her up just before she kills her and is like, yeah, but you're
Amara.
Amara, Merchant Amara. She's like, yeah, you doing this, reacting this way also tells me something. She didn't elaborate, but I think she's getting that sense of desperation that these guys, the people who she's in conflict with, are desperate as well, and they don't want her to get hex tech. I think they don't. I think it's told her that, yeah, hex tech is the correct play. The fact that they've done this in this way right now, they don't want me to get this shit because the playing field will even. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and actually, that might be a way for us to see that there are people who are tapped into the arcane. Because
How
that
so?
looked like a magical
Oh,
assassination.
oh yeah, no, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. We could like the black rose on the hand, and it's like, but also it looks like being worked. It looked like it was being worked through her also, like she had
Hmm.
been granted that ability for a time being, or maybe she has it all the
Yeah.
time, but it feels granted. It doesn't feel like it's her own. It's
Yes.
got that sense of like, here, I will grant you access to this amount of power. Demon Slayer vibes, Muzan. Yeah.
I think also a good typification of these like desperation and consequences is Caitlin. She's not
Mm,
desperate because she's grieving. She's not just grieving because she's grieving, but she's grieving out
mm.
of guilt because she and her mother never got along.
Yes.
And now there's no way for her to
Yes.
make that right. And so she's desperately trying to do something that will assuage that guilt that she's not even admitting to right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did Vi say to her? Vi's like, you can't fill that hole, bro. It'll get smaller, but it's never gonna go away. And you need to learn to live with this thing and move forward. You need to find a way to move forward. What came to me while you're talking also on a smaller scale, the sense of desperation, the firelights with Echo and Heimerdinger, Heimerdinger sneaking back in, right, to this place that he knows he wasn't welcome anymore. That scene was so cute and so fun because like, Heimerdinger's like, I'm doing a heist. He's being so silly. You realize how silly of a
He's
person
being
he
so
is.
sneaky,
And he's like,
sneaking through the ducts.
bruh, and Echo just walking behind him like, bro,
Like, what
what
are
are
you
you
doing?
doing?
And she's like,
Yeah, hiding
like
here and
fucking
there.
Spider Man.
And Echo's like, there's no one here, dude. Like, just walk. And
So
then
you own this place.
yeah,
It's yours.
he's like, this place is yours. Like, yes, it's his lab, but it's in your fucking building, bro. They didn't take your assets from you. They just kicked you off the council. Like what? Yeah, that was dope. But like
I think that
that
was some
act,
necessary comic relief.
yes, definitely,
We
definitely. But
needed that
I
because
find
it was
that
heavy.
I find that act of breaking in um, a sense of desperation as well, right? So they were so desperate that he's like, "Flip, let's go," and he didn't want to talk to Chase. He was there to use the equipment really to take a closer look, I think, at the leaf and whatnot, but it ended up working out. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I vibe that consequences and desperation.
Yeah, there's also Jace with Victor trying to save his life.
Mm,
There's that blonde guy with no legs now who's desperate to like hold on to his power but who
yeah.
feels it's a nice kind of metaphor for impotence.
Mm,
And I
mm.
say nice because
Yes.
just for
Like
lack
well
of another
done. Yes, like
better
a well
word. Yes,
done.
yes.
Yes.
Not like that is actually nice.
And
Just to be
yeah,
clear, people
yes.
get cancelled
Yeah.
over nothing these days.
No.
Um, I thought of one more person.
I
Oh,
thought of someone too.
the fucking the crime bosses.
Yes, I was about to say yes. Yes. And the consequence for Zorn, Silco's death, like
Hmm.
creating desperation. And yeah, the consequence of his death creating that sense of desperation for all those citizens there. It's a like it shows how out of touch the council are. That they're like, do you see they attacked the memorial? No, no, that was a lone agent. Like if you guys were tapped in, if you had whisperers, if you had proper spies, you'd know that it's a shit show down there. And actually, the plan was actually as horrible as it is. It was the right thing for them and their perspective to do to send people down, to go overwhelm them, because actually Zorn was not united in any shape or form. If they attacked and
Hmm.
sent in forces in numbers, yeah, they would have. Yes, they don't know the fishes that well, etc. But there was such disarray with the crime bosses creating more orphans and really fighting for Silco's seat that they would have caught them off guard. Yeah, and you see it with the smaller unit that Caitlin puts together. Actually, that oh shit, people they went unchecked. First of all, no one knew they were there until they were just in front of people's faces, poisoning them. So yeah, yeah, man, desperation and consequences. Let's wind down,
Yeah.
yo.
Yo.
Let's get
All
into
right.
any
Looking ahead.
predictions. Yes.
So we were treated to a look ahead at the end of the episode
Hmm.
from Netflix itself. And yesterday, I mentioned Black Haired Vi. And
Yes.
this was a meme that went around the internet. So, like I said, I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't even watch the shorts. I maybe watched one or two interviews going in. But the
Hmm.
one thing I saw was Black Haired Vi.
Which I never saw. I never saw that. Funny enough, I
Which
saw
is very
Enforcer High.
interesting.
But I think we did the
Yeah,
same
because I
thing,
didn't
right?
see that.
I think we did the same thing though. Is I saw one thing and I barred myself from seeing anything else ever again. I was like, I'm not looking for other things.
Yes, I don't know why we did that. Like, you, I understand because you're like, oh, I'm going to create expectations. That's why you generally are over trailers in the first place.
But also, they reveal too much. Like modern trailers just show too much stuff. Yes, a lot of the time, I think they've rejigged the technique so that actually a lot of the time it's the early things that are seen. They pack a lot of the early action into trailers, particularly like your superhero trailers and whatnot. Will show when they're showing a lot of stuff like, oh, this is based the whole story. It's like actually the first 10 minutes of the movie is what they're actually showing you in the trailer. But still, I find trailers do too much. No, I love a good trailer. Like thingy, what's the show now? Also animated about vampires. Castlevania Nocturne. I love that trailer. It's on my phone. Like I have it. It was my wallpaper for a while. So I know I like a good trailer. But when I'm really anticipating a thing, I don't want to know too much about it. Yes, for a sense of expectations, but more so, I don't want them to just reveal things, you know? You know, Blackhead
Hmm.
Vibe. You were saying, though, the look ahead?
Yeah. So, any thoughts of what we can be expecting? Any thoughts of?
Well, I wonder if Vi is even in the city anymore. Like maybe she is. I mean, she probably is, but she's in like this underground fighting arena. She's got black hair. She's looking super gangster. She's like putting black face paint on, I think, just before she goes to one of her fights and whatnot. But with the volatility of Zorn, and maybe it's a distraction for people, but that's a war zone. You know, this is twin cities at war. I'm just not sure if she's there right now. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like the battle is ongoing, right? It's like because the first season time jumped, you know, and so I wouldn't be surprised if this is a few months ahead and she might not be in the city at the moment. And maybe someone comes to look for her, probably Echo. We got a sense
I feel
of
like she pulled a Cora.
right, yeah, from last ep, gosh, Avatar,
Avatar series.
Legend of Korra. Yes, yeah, and just bounced to not think about her problems. Um, Jinx looks interesting. She's becoming like a messiah figure of her own. I didn't. Did you notice? I didn't see or notice anything on Victor. Did they put anything there?
Not that I could see. Not that we would have known.
Interest. Interesting. What do you think that means?
Yeah. That it would have given us too much if they'd shown it. Because they didn't touch on the arcane at all in that. It was
Yeah.
just a politic filled look ahead.
True. True. Do you think it's a look ahead of the next 3 episodes, and they're going to give us another look ahead?
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. What are your thoughts on Victor's mentor, who's working on wolves, creating this like mutant giant wolf guy?
A very, very good question. He clearly seems to be suffering from his own illness.
And maybe grief. And he's not using shimmer. He's using that other thing, that other green substance that suddenly is around. I think it was in season 1, just not as prominent. And shimmer, I
Yeah.
suppose, was the better alternative. But now it is. I think with the destruction of the factories, maybe they're using. So for context, quickly, we end. I think it starts from episode 2. I don't think it's in episode 1, but episode 2. It opens with him like using that gas, that noxious gas on a pack of wolves. He comes to a den and he hits them with the gas. Is what we see. Then that episode ends with him dissecting a bunch of wolves, and we see organs that have like gears in them. Like it looks like a beating heart, like gears in it. And then episode 3, I can't remember if we open with him, but we definitely close where suddenly there's this giant fucking wolf man, humanoid wolf looking like a werewolf looking thing, hanging above him with a bunch of tubes in it and like with the green liquid in, kind of like Bane from Batman, looking like an enhanced wolf thing. And I'm sure it's got game stuff, it's like from the game and whatnot. Just not sure how it's gonna factor into the story. And he doesn't seem to be in Piltover or Zorn either. You know, he was out in nature somewhere. So yeah, I'm not sure. It was for me. That was confusing. And again, first act, so probably it'll definitely make sense later. But I didn't like the vagueness of it at this point, at least. Maybe it works as a whole, but right now it's the weakest part of the first episodes for me. Is those segments. So did you have any last predictions?
I
What do you
think
think might
Caitlin and Vi
happen?
are going to have to face off.
Oh, oh, that's tragic. And do you think Vi and Jinx are going to reconcile after all of this shit? Because they
No.
couldn't kill each other at the end in episode 3. They got to the point, and Jinx is asking, was like, "Yeah, do it, fucking take me out." And Jinx, not Jinx, Vi, you could see she wasn't gonna do it. It wasn't gonna happen. It's just like it wasn't. And Jinx is not actually trying to kill her. We've seen, bruh, in these first 3 episodes, now we try to see Jinx murder motherfuckers, just like bam, bam, bam. Vi's alive in many sense because Jinx is like, nah, I can't do it, and the other way around as well. But you don't think they'll reconcile. So what do you think will happen instead of reconciliation?
I don't think it'll be a reconciliation. I think it'll be like a very strained, tacit understanding between the two.
Okay, okay. Um, I'm introducing a quick little game before I forget, and I just thought of it now. Predict who's gonna die. If anyone is gonna die of our main characters, who's gonna die right now, and then we'll do it again if no one dies at the end of Act 2. But right now, who do you
Savika?
think is gonna die? Savika. Too easy. Too easy. Come, give us another one.
Main characters. I feel like Mel is going to die.
They kind of faked us out, right, in the opening of episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
With her supposed, but she got up. I legit thought with everything where everything was so brutal. I was like, yo, what if she doesn't have legs? What if he lifts her and there's no lower half? I was like, oh no, and then she stood up. I was like, oh okay, cool. But maybe I think that's a credit to the show that my brain went there because I was like, these motherfuckers might do it. Okay, so you think Mal will die of the main characters? I don't know. At present, maybe I don't know if I'm wanting it, but something says to me that Jace is not long for this world.
Do you think so?
Hmm.
I feel like Jace is going to live and he's going to be very sad. I think everything's going to be his fault somehow.
Yeah.
Or he's going to be left in a place where he feels like everything is his fault.
I'm getting sacrifice vibes from him with the arcaneness and whatnot to stop or something. I'm getting sacrifice energy. Okay, so you said finding enough word for the lovers. You've said Mal at the moment, and I've said Jace. As definite deaths. There might be other deaths that we suspect, but at the moment, our Deadpool, each of our Deadpools.
I'll also tell you why. I don't think they're going to kill the game avatars. Ambessa's not going to die.
Okay.
Jace is not going to die. Vi and Caitlyn and Jinx are not going to die.
You think so?
I could be completely wrong. But I feel like
was
they
Silco an
won't
avatar?
kill the game avatars. No.
Do we know? Well, his backstory.
I don't think so. I don't think he or Vanda were ever avatars.
Oh, talking of avatars, just remembered your guy, the one who looks like Vanda. What's his name?
I think he's meant to be Graves, but I can't be sure because I've never played League of Legends.
Yeah, when Caitlyn was being elected commander and they were all saluting her and like doing the cheer, he was like, "Yeah, fuck this noise. I see what this is. Oh, I see power corrupting. Absolutely, my gosh, yeah. Oh, Caitlyn pisses me. It's so normal. It makes sense, but fucking pisses me off. You know, it's the thing that happens in real life, but it's pissing me the fuck off. She's going to become exactly what she didn't want. You know? Yeah. Shit. Alright, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you for this quick fire reacting in instantaneousness, aka instant reaction. Are you looking forward to Act 2?
Anxiously, yes.
Anxiously. Why anxious? What's making you anxious?
I don't know. They gave us a fucking Vi Caitlyn kiss and then broke it not even 5 minutes later. Like,
dude,
we just had some nice things.
Not even 5 minutes later, bro. Like, we knew betrayal was gonna happen. I didn't think it was the same episode.
Yeah.
And then the fight starts to happen. I was like, oh wait, this is not. Oh no, fucking what? Then what she did to Vi, dude.
Like, hey, yes.
She fucking gutted her, bro, with the butt of her rifle. Yep. Like, have you ever heard Vi whimper? Vi freaking went, oh! I was like, oh. She like hit her in the solar plexus, bro, and it just started crying immediately. Immediately, she's like, oh. Like, what? You did that to Violet? Nah, shit, dude. Nah, fuck Caitlyn forever, bro. What is that? There's this TikTok channel where this girl this lady has introduced her father to anime and manga, and she's been taking him on a journey. Her dad's a doctor and whatnot, like this adorable old eloquent white man with a beard, and she got him into Berserk, and he's like, oh, I'm in Berserk and whatnot, and he like likes Griffin, and he likes Guts, who's like Griffin's friend and whatnot, and in Berserk, spoiler alert, Griffin betrays Guts, and everyone he knows, his whole mercenary band that he led. And the father, in reaction, was like, oh, Griffin, may his name be forgotten forever. And that was me with Caitlyn. The moment she had freaking whacked Vi in the gut, I was like, may her name be forgotten. What the? It was one thing. She also decided, you could see she's standing there. She's like, nah, fuck violence. You could have just walked away, bro. You could have been like, let go of my rifle. I'm leaving. She fucking went, oh. I was scandalized. Yo. Shit. Fuck. Okay, so you're anxious. Make me anxious now. Alright, let's get out of here. You rubbed it off on me.
I love being in a boat with someone because misery loves company.
Oh, you horrible villain. Villainy. Alright, miserable. I'll see you next week. Not 2
Okay.
weeks. Thank you for
Bye,
this reaction,
everyone.
guys. Bye. Bye.